500,000 miles with no major repairs sounds impossible, but trucks do it all the time. And the difference between one that dies at 200,000 and one that joins the 500,000 mile club comes down to a strict set of habits and one big decision. We have ranked them into 7 essential rules. Counting down from the foundation, every long-lived truck is built on, to the single cheapest habit that protects more moving parts than anything else. Starting at number 7, it all begins with what is under the hood before you ever turn a wrench. Number 7, the journey to 500,000 miles begins with a powertrain built for endurance, not just performance. Trucks like the 5.9-liter Cummins Inline-6 are legendary for their cast iron blocks, forged cranks, and a naturally balanced straight-six design that keeps vibration and internal stress to a minimum. The Duramax LBZ stands out among diesels for its lack of complex emissions hardware, robust iron block, and a fuel system designed to outlast the body around it. Toyota's 22RE, with its modest power output and forged steel internals, proves that simplicity and low-stress engineering can turn a small engine into a million-mile workhorse. These platforms share one trait: they're overbuilt and understressed, with fewer moving parts and less thermal load. No amount of maintenance can save a fragile, overcomplicated engine. The foundation for extreme mileage is set before the first oil change. Choose a proven, low-stress powertrain, and the rest of the journey becomes possible. Number 6, using quality parts and keeping detailed records separates trucks that make it to 500,000 miles from those that get parked long before. Every high-mileage survivor has one thing in common: a disciplined ownership system. Owners who reach these milestones avoid bargain bin fluids, off-brand filters, and no-name replacement parts. Cheap components might save a few dollars up front, but they introduce hidden risks: premature failures, cascading breakdowns, and unpredictable repairs that can end a truck's life early. The difference comes down to documentation and consistency. Handwritten logbooks, like those shared on Tacoma World, track every oil change, filter swap, and part replacement by date and mileage. These records reveal patterns: when a starter usually fails, how long an alternator lasts, and exactly when to plan the next big service. One owner who meticulously tracked every dollar spent calculated a lifetime maintenance cost of just 12 cents per mile, turning a vague goal into a concrete benchmark. Receipts and a complete service history don't just help the current owner, they prove the truck's health to the next one, raising resale value and removing any guesswork about what's been done or what's overdue. Number 5. Longevity isn't just about what's under the hood, it's about how you treat the whole truck every single day. Smooth driving habits and rust prevention work together as a defense system that extends far beyond the engine bay. Gentle throttle and steady warm-ups limit sudden stress on mounts, drive shafts, and transmission components, reducing the risk of fatigue cracks and early failures. But even the best mechanical care can't save a frame that's been eaten away by salt. In the Rust Belt, road salt quietly attacks brake lines, fuel lines, and the frame itself, sometimes dooming trucks to the scrapyard while their engines still run strong. Stanley Weeks III's routine, washing the undercarriage every winter and applying a fluid film-style rust inhibitor once a year, has kept his high-mile Silverado hauling past the 500,000 mark. This simple, repeatable strategy costs less than a single frame repair and ensures that the body and structure survive as long as the powertrain. Without it, even the toughest engine can't outrun corrosion. Number 4, the difference between a truck that quietly racks up 500,000 miles and one that fails on the side of the road often comes down to replacing wear parts before they break. This is not about waiting for a tow truck or scrambling for parts at midnight. It's about treating component swaps as routine, scheduled maintenance. Water pumps, serpentine belts, hoses, and tensioners all have predictable lifespans. A starter, for example, is known to fail between 180,000 and 200,000 miles, but high-mileage owners replace it around 175,000 to avoid a no-start disaster. Alternators and injectors might last longer, but they too have service windows. Ignoring them risks a chain reaction where one failed part takes out others and leads to a much bigger repair bill. Proactive replacement costs a few $100s and a planned afternoon in the shop, while running these items to failure can mean thousands in collateral damage and unplanned downtime. The trucks that make it past 500,000 miles treat these replacements as scheduled stops, not emergencies. Number 3, the zero deferred maintenance rule draws a hard line between trucks that quietly cross 500,000 miles and those that unravel in their final years. In high-mileage ownership, every new leak, warning light, odd vibration, or change in smell is treated as an urgent signal. A faint drip from a transmission line can drain a component dry in a single highway run. A barely audible whine from a pulley might mean a bearing is already shedding metal, threatening to take out the belt and water pump next. Even minor seepage or a subtle change in exhaust odor is a red flag that demands same-day diagnosis. The logic is simple. Small problems rarely stay small on a truck that is already deep into its service life. Ignoring a check engine light or postponing a repair sets off a chain reaction. One bad sensor leads to bad fuel trim, which can burn pistons or clog injectors. The trucks that make it to 500,000 miles never let these dominoes fall. Fast diagnosis and faster correction is not just a habit, it is the defining trait of every long-lived survivor. In this world, there is no room for "I will get to it later." Number 2, never neglect the drivetrain fluids. This is the hidden battleground where trucks either quietly pass 500,000 miles or face catastrophic failure long before. The rear differential, front differential, transfer case, and transmission all rely on specialized lubricants designed to withstand punishing heat and torque, especially when towing. Under severe loads, gear oil loses its extreme pressure protection much faster than most owners realize. For GM and many Ram heavy-duty trucks, the severe service schedule calls for rear differential fluid changes every 30,000 miles. Ford's severe duty guidance stretches that interval to 50,000 miles, but local dealer recommendations sometimes pull it back to 30,000 if conventional oil is used. The difference between these numbers comes down to fluid type and how hard the truck works. Synthetic oil can buy a little more time, but there's no universal rule. The owner's manual is the final authority for your specific truck. Neglecting these intervals is an invitation to some of the most expensive repairs in truck ownership, differential rebuilds, and transmission overhauls that can run into the thousands. The trucks that make it to 500,000 miles treat drivetrain fluid changes as non-negotiable, not optional. And finally, in first place, nothing comes close to the impact of obsessing over your oil. Every mile a truck travels, the engine's moving parts rely on a thin film of oil to keep metal from grinding metal. When that film breaks down, whether from heat, dirt, fuel dilution, or just time, wear accelerates fast. Severe duty use like towing, hauling heavy loads, driving on dusty roads, or making lots of short trips pushes oil to its limits. That's why the best high-mileage owners never stretch intervals. Factory guidance often calls for synthetic oil changes at 10,000 miles for normal driving, but cuts that in half to 5,000 miles when used for severe service. Cummins and other heavy-duty engine makers recommend a 7,500-mile severe interval. But fleets and owner-operators who push trucks hard often stick with 5,000-mile changes, backed by used oil analysis, showing synthetic oil still in good shape, but starting to pick up contaminants right at that point. Clean filters matter just as much, catching abrasive particles before they circulate. Over 500,000 miles, that means 100 oil changes, an investment of $7,000 to $10,000 in protection. Compare that to the $8,000 or more for a single engine rebuild, and the math is simple. Routine oil and filter changes are the cheapest insurance you can buy. For trucks that survive 500,000 miles, oil discipline isn't just a habit, it's the foundation that every other maintenance routine is built upon. Across all 7 habits, one lesson stands out. 500,000-mile trucks are built on discipline, not luck. The right powertrain and relentless oil care turn ordinary pickups into legends. Longevity isn't glamorous, it's earned, mile by mile. What's the highest mileage you've seen on a truck? Subscribe for more practical rankings.